Hey everybody, Mark Edward Lewis here with Cinema Sound. Today we're going to be looking at one of the Waves audio plugins called Center, which has nothing to do with a basketball team, and we're going to be using it in Adobe Audition to help separate some of the elements in a stereo burnt master, in this case just for music. And a lot of people use this for music, but you can use this for your post-production situation as well, especially if you have a stereo down mix and you don't have any stems and you really need something to, process what's dialogue in the center from what's maybe not in that mono middle. So I'm just going to play you a piece of music here that we're going to be messing with. It's here in Adobe Audition from Blade of Honor. Check it out. Go back here. So there's a ton of stuff going on there. Lots of really wide stereo things, and then some really sharp bass drum and low frequency elements that are dead in the middle of mono. We want to be able to process these differently because your mind listens to things that are mono differently than it listens to things that are stereo, and we want to be able to avoid any phase issues. So the first thing we want to do is, this is the audio file. We'll have this one as our mono only file, and then we'll hold down Option or Alt, Shift, drag down so that it doesn't go out of sync. This one will be the stereo or the not mono bits, but we're going to mute this track. We're going to work with the mono first. All right, so let's put on the center channel and instantiate this by going to AU. You can use VST if you like, Waves, and then Center Stereo. There it is. Pretty simple plugin. You've got that, which is center channel like here. You can turn that up or off, and then sides the same. In this case, we want to turn off the sides altogether, and here's what it sounds like. And you're like, Mark, that sounds like crap. That sounds terrible. And I'm like, I know, it kind of does, but you'll have to trust me on this. What we're taking out in the sides, we're going to be taking out from the center on the other channel, and when they come together, they make a cohesive whole. In fact, let me just show you what I'm talking about. We'll kill this one. We'll unmute the other channel. We will turn on the AU or VST Wave Center Stereo, and we will do the opposite. We will turn center down. Here's what that sounds like. And you can hear there's some artifacture in there as well, but when we put them together, which is super dope. And there's a little artifacture in there, but what's nice about this plugin is you can bring these things together, and what's being pulled out of this is being pushed in over here, and although there's a little artifact left, it's pretty much masked over everything else. So one of the nice things about this plugin is, we'll go back to mono here for a second, and we'll look at center channel, is it's got a lot of really cool dials that we would use typically in music, but we can definitely use in production as well, like low. And that's basically a nice low EQ curve, which you can add to the center or the sides, or high, a little high shimmer to the lows of this is the center of the sides. And then of course a nice compression punch. So let's take a look at the low first. I got mono on only. Yes, center. Yes, here we go. And then with it off, let's turn this off. So I like that lows. And if you're not listening on headphones or a really nice sound system, you're probably not hearing any of this. So we'll turn this up all the way. And let's add some punch as well. Some little Kool-Aid. That's pretty cool, but I'm not sold on this punch parameter. It doesn't quite give me quite the snap that I want. I like the low frequency. So we're going to definitely add a multi-band compressor to this, and we'll just use the one that's built in, amplitude and compression, to Audition. Multi-band compressor, we only want to deal with the lows, so we'll dial this into about 70 decibels or 70 hertz or so. We'll make this ratio pretty sharp. We'll make the attack pretty short in the 40s and the release the same. And we'll turn up the gain quite a bit because we're going to compress the snot out of this somewhere down here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so it's a lot snappier. Here's with it off. And here's with it on. Just much more snappy in those low frequencies. All right, cool. But I'm going to show you something that you may not like to see. I'm going to go to the mixer. And even though we've pulled out the center channel, let's see here. If I show you this, this is a little meter that shows you where things are in pan land. You know, if it's straight up and down, it's dead mono, and if it's over here at 45 and 45, it's hard left and hard right. And if it goes beyond that, then it's kind of weird and phasey and super cool, which might have some mono compatibility issues. But since we pulled out the center channel, you would expect it to be dead mono. Let's see if that's so. Which fortunately it is. And you're like, well, how can you tell? Well, because it's going straight up and down, and that's what we want to make sure of. Some plugins have it go a little like this, and that's not good. We want to then force that to be mono. But in this case, it's leaving everything that it's pulling out dead mono. So make sure you're checking, if you're not using a Waves audio plugin, that it's definitely pulling mono and leaving it mono. All right, cool. So let's see. Are we good there? Yeah, we're good. Let's check out the stereo side, the non-mono side. And let's open the center plugin. Let's see if we can add some high frequency to the side. So I'm going to turn it this way. Let's turn it up all the way and see what happens. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not 100% sold on that. Let's say I want to add a little more sheeniness and have a little control at the same time. So I'm going to still use this multi-band compressor. I'm going to use a really easy 2-to-1 ratio on both of these higher bands. I'm going to make this one kind of sibilance around 5K, and this one a little bit more of that roar area from 800 hertz up to 5K. I'll pull this threshold down, this one down a little bit more. And we'll leave it a reasonably slow attack in the upper 80s and 90s, and the release even slower than that, so we don't really hear it. Let's see what happens here. So we got a little more high frequencies, but it's also balanced so that when the cymbals and things hit, it's not jerking forward. And this is a really good setting if you have a lot of sound effects going on as well. I'll turn this on and off and you can hear the difference. Off. On. Off. On. So it's pretty cool. It's nice. The high frequencies are a little more contoured now. And now let's add it all together, the mono with our new side fill stuff. And then let's listen to what it was originally. I'm going to turn off all the plugins and the stereo channel. So now it should just be our original. And now back where we just were working. And it's subtle. Mastering should be subtle. It shouldn't be like, wow, it's a crazy thing. But it's allowing us to have control over mono and stereo and a lot of other things in between. If you've been doing this yourself in some kind of plugin, Adobe Audition also has the center channel extractor. We have a tutorial on that. Let us know what's going on and how you're using it on the Cinema Sound forum, and so we can all learn together. Until then, we'll see you in the studio.